Hi, this is Tanya from tanyalouise.com, and this is a short EFT demonstration for Maternal Mental Health Week. This is quite an important one for me because I really struggled after the birth of my son with terrible postnatal depression, and one of the things that got me through it, along with some counselling and some support from my family, was carrying on doing the tap-in with EFT. And at times I was in such a bad place that I didn't remember to do it. And it was only when I was kind of coming out of it that I started to remember the tools that could really help me. And it's just something I'm very passionate about because it does work. And now my son's 3.5 years old. I'm in a much different place. But I still get those days, moments, seconds where I'm feeling totally overwhelmed, and it's really stressful and anxiety inducing. My child's very spirited. So tapping is something that has really helped me to process some of the big stuff that comes up being a parent, because your children will always push your buttons and bring up your wounds and your triggers. And our job is to deal with our stuff and break the patterns so we don't pass it on to them. So I'm going to do this one on overwhelm and that sort of sense of failing that can happen if we're having a really hard time. So just copy what I do. If the words don't resonate, just use your own words, okay? And I'm going to use Pat Carrington's choices because I find it quite empowering to sort of state a negative and then bring in a positive, okay? So even though I feel totally overwhelmed and that I'm failing, I choose to believe I'm doing the best that I can and I'm getting through this moment by moment. Even though I feel totally overwhelmed and like I'm failing, I choose to believe that I can get through this moment by moment and that I'm doing the best that I can. Even though I feel totally overwhelmed and like I'm failing, I choose to believe I'm going to get through this and I'm doing the best that I can, moment by moment. I'm feeling totally overwhelmed. I feel like I'm failing. 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 I choose to believe I'm getting through this and I'm doing the best that I can. I choose to believe I'm getting through this, doing the best that I can. I choose to believe I'm getting through this, doing the best that I can. I choose to believe I'm getting through this, doing the best that I can. I choose to believe I'm getting through this, doing the best that I can. I choose to believe I'm getting through this, doing the best that I can. I choose to believe I'm doing the best that I can and I'm getting through this. I choose to believe I'm getting through this and I'm doing the best that I can. Feeling so overwhelmed and anxious. I choose to believe I'm doing the best that I can and I'm getting through this. Feeling totally overwhelmed. I choose to believe I'm doing the best that I can and I'm getting through this. Feeling totally overwhelmed and like I'm failing. I choose to believe I'm doing the best that I can and I'm getting through this. Feeling totally overwhelmed and like I'm failing. I choose to believe I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing the best that I can and I'm going to get through this. Now that's just a really short demonstration. There's lots of other ways you can work with EFT just by really tuning into the feelings of what's going on. So just to give you a couple of seconds of how it might look differently. Even though I'm really overwhelmed and I'm really struggling, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I'm really, really struggling and I'm feeling totally overwhelmed, I love and accept myself anyway. Even though I'm totally overwhelmed and I feel like I'm failing, I love and accept myself anyway. I feel totally overwhelmed. It's so hard being a parent. I feel exhausted. I feel touched out. I feel really triggered. I feel like I'm failing. This is the hardest thing I've ever done and I don't know whether I can keep doing this. I accept all of those feelings. I accept this is how I feel right now. And what if I could start believing that something will shift and I will get through this? How might that feel? If I believed that I just need to get through it day by day, even though I'm totally overwhelmed, I'm going to get through this day by day. Even though I'm totally overwhelmed, I love and accept myself, and I'm going to get through this. Even though I'm totally overwhelmed right now, this isn't the end. I love and accept myself, and I'm getting through this. This is the hardest thing I've ever done, and I'm getting through this. And every day, I just take one day at a time, and I can tap through what comes up. I am not the only one to feel this way. I can do this. I've got here so far. I can do this. I can do this. I believe in my ability to do this, even though I don't always. I can do this. So I hope that you found that helpful. There are lots of different ways you can use EFT, and if you're really struggling at this time with postnatal depression or overwhelm, try and get some help from your doctor, and women's centres tend to offer free counselling. You'll have to look around for it. EFT, there's lots of free EFT stuff online. I offer sessions wherever people are in the world. For me, what helped was EFT, counselling, reaching out, making sure I somehow got enough sleep, because sleep was really bad for me, and talking to people, finding the people that I could trust, and finding kind of a sisterhood wherever that was, and opening up to people, and then realising I wasn't alone in this. So I hope you found that helpful, and thank you for tuning in.